Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Global GEG podcast. You're in for an amazing treat. We have Debbie Tannenbaum with us today, who's going to share an amazing session on Transform using Techy notes to make learning sticky. And Debbie is a great technology integrationist that is coming to us from Virginia. And I'm going to keep that intro as short and sweet and leave it right there because I want her to have all the time because you guys are going to be amazed by the awesomeness she shares. Take it away, Debbie.
Thank you so much. So welcome to Transform using Techy notes to make learning sticky. This is the session that is, hey Megan, hey Shannon. This is the session that is based off of my upcoming book, which is available for pre-order and should be on Amazon soon. And so you can find me at Tannenbaum Tech on Twitter, Instagram, Fox, or pretty much anything. And I'm going to go ahead and get started because I can't wait to share. So to give you a little bit of information about me, I am an elementary school tech coach in Fairfax County, Virginia. This is my 21st year in education. I blog at Tannenbaum Tech. I like to contribute to lots and lots and lots of different blogs, Teachers on Fire magazine, School Rubric, Teach Better blog, Rochelle Dene Post blog. And like I said, I'm an upcoming author. I'm super excited about that. And as you can see, I'm a collector of many badges. I like to support things that I feel like are just doing amazing things for students and educators. So today we're really going to be talking about how we can make learning sticky. And so as we're talking about that, we're going to do it in 3 different parts. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to discover what I consider a transform tech tool is. We're also going to talk about tech tools that promote creation. And then finally, we're going to talk about ways that you can empower yourself with sticky tech tools. So we're going to go ahead and get started right away. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about transform tech tools. So when I talk about transform tech tools, they have 3 different characteristics. The first one is that they give opportunities that are not possible without the tech. The second one is that they're versatile enough to use in any setting, subject, or age group. And then the last one is they transform or enhance the learning experience. In my upcoming book, the second chapter really takes you through all of these. I'm going to give you a taste just to get you thinking about what tools you use that could be considered transform tech tools as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through each of those characteristics and show you examples of tech tools that meet those criteria. And so some of these tech tools might be a tech tool you've already used, and some of them might be tech tools that you've never heard of, and that's fine. One of my favorite things is to find new uses for an old tech tool. And if it's a new tech tool, then maybe you can add it into your practice even tomorrow. So for our first category, we're going to talk about tech tools that give opportunities that are not possible without the tech. And the tools we're going to talk about are the Smithsonian Learning Lab and EdPuzzle. So when we talk about beyond the tech, Smithsonian Learning Lab is a great example. I'm going to show you a brief video clip so you can kind of see a little bit what it looks like, and then I'll take you deeper inside of it.
The Smithsonian Learning Lab is a new digital platform that allows anyone to discover and use the digital collections and resources of the Smithsonian. These resources aren't like a traditional lesson plan. They're not designed and formatted and published as a really specific sequence. They're built in a way that enables a teacher to customize them.
Teachers can be confident that it's going to be addressing the things that they need to teach. But at the same time, for students, it's going to be more about them, where they have a chance to explore their interests, create collections, ask questions, talk to each other, complete activities to show what they accomplished. What we want to do is make all of our collections available so it's easy for a teacher to tailor it to those particular needs, to the particular voices she has in the classroom.
Each time a user comes back to the Learning Lab, there'll be new resources available, both new digital museum collections available, but also new resources that other users have made. So it'll be really an environment that's continually changing and adapting to the needs of its users.
So as you can see, one of the cool things about the Smithsonian Learning Lab is it allows you to visit any museum from anywhere at any time. It lets you take a close-up look at exhibits, and it allows you to curate similar collections from multiple locations. When you actually look inside of it, this is what it looks like, and you can do a search for anything. I'm just going to quickly show you what it can do. So if I'm looking for ancient Egypt, of course, it's going to, we are not taking the tour right now. There are 2,909 resources. Well, I can also decide, do I want to just have images? I can really customize it. I can decide, do I want them to be public domain? I can also use what they call Learning Lab collections. And these are collections that other educators have made in order to help teach students. And so I can click on one of these, and I can really get a chance to look and see what's there. It gives you the opportunity to zoom in, zoom out, really look at what of all these resources. And as you're working on these, you can even customize it by age. So it's a really, really fabulous resource that I highly suggest, if you haven't checked out, that you do. I am going to give you the bit.ly link to the presentation at the end, and you'll notice I even have a blog post where I'm happy to share, where you can learn about some of the ways that I have used Smithsonian Learning Lab. The second example for Beyond the Tech is EdPuzzle. I love EdPuzzle. Our students are naturally video users, and EdPuzzle makes any video interactive. It allows the students to watch the videos at their own pace, and it allows you to create formative data. So all really, really great things that you can use. On the bottom of this slide, it talks a little bit about why it's so important. And, you know, it talks about reinforcing that accountability, engaging your students. I've even heard some examples about people having their students create EdPuzzles as a way to engage them. So really, really great tool. The second characteristic is being versatile enough to use in any setting, subject, or age group. I don't know about all of you, but I don't want to learn a tech tool when I can only use it for one thing. And so it's really, really important to me that my tech tool, especially as a tech coach, can be used for lots and lots and lots of other subjects. And so the two tools we're going to talk about are Pear Deck, and I know some of you are Nearpod people, and that is absolutely okay. I just happen to be a Pear Deck person, and Flipgrid. So to kind of get an idea of what you can do with this, when we're talking about Pear Deck, it has a huge template, library of templates to get you started. I understand, Mel. That's why people like vanilla and chocolate ice cream. And so it turns any slide into an interactive experience. It really gives you, it has a teacher dashboard that really gives you some superpowers. And so it's a really valuable tool. So I'm going to show you a brief view of that before we continue on. So I see that we have a lot of Nearpod people or two in the chat. I just happen to like Pear Deck. It's one of the things that we don't have to get parent permission for. We do for Nearpod. And as I go later on, I'm going to show you a use of Pear Deck that Nearpod doesn't have. So that's kind of important. Once again, there is a blog post that shares some of the great ways my teachers use Pear Deck, linked here as well. Flipgrid. I love Flipgrid. It's just one of the best programs I think that's out there. I love the fact that there's a huge library of templates to get you started. I love that right now where we have sometimes we have these concurrent situations where some students are in person and some are remote. It allows them to communicate asynchronously, and it allows them to communicate potentially even without a mask on. I think that's become such a challenge. I also love the Shorts camera. The Shorts camera just keeps getting better and better. When I first started using Flipgrid, some of my students did not want to be on camera. They don't have to anymore. They can use mic only mode. They can decide to put a board up. Just today on Twitter, they added all of these new amazing boards that I think they're just trying to simulate that, TikTok, YouTube feeling. But it really enables our students to do a lot of sharing and really share their thinking, which is just so important. And so if you haven't played around with it, you definitely want to. Yeah, I know sometimes the kids don't want to use the mic is what they want to use. And then they could create a podcast. So there's definitely advantages. We want to give our students choices, and Flipgrid allows them to have a lot of choice, but also still be sharing their thoughts. So definitely check it out. It's free. As far as I know, it will always be free. In addition, you're going to see that there is a blog post linked here with some of the funness on Flipgrid. I am a student voice ambassador, in addition to lots of other things with Flipgrid. I just love how they listen to educators. So the next one we're going to talk about characteristic is transforming or enhancing the learning experience. And so I'm going to share two for that. And the two I'm going to share are Padlet and Pear Deck's Flashcard Factory. Now, if you haven't heard of Pear Deck's Flashcard Factory, this might be the highlight of your night. And if you have, then you know why I'm so excited about it. So let's talk about Padlet first. Padlet is pretty much an online digital board. And so one of the things that I love about Padlet is that it really allows students to see each other's thoughts. It promotes collaboration, and there's so many different formats. There's the stream, there's shelf, there's timelines, which I can see so many amazing uses for. So you have all of these choices. And one of the things I love about this is it really embraces universal design for learning. You can add voice notes, you can add video, you can add text. I agree, Megan, it's awesome. And so you have all of these possibilities. You could just add your voice. So it really honors our students. I have a love-hate relationship with Padlet because it is a paid thing. At school this year, we were able to get it as a paid option. And finally, I decided as far as presentations go, it was something I really wanted to start using. So I did make that jump. But it's an amazing tool that allows you could not do this particular purpose and have your students interacting in this way without Padlet. Yeah, Padlet's awesome. So the last tool I'm going to talk about for this part is Pear Deck's Flashcard Factory. Now, unlike Pear Deck, Pear Deck's Flashcard Factory is free. So let me say that one more time. There are some features in Pear Deck, the drawing slides and the draggable slides, that you have to pay for, though there is a way around that. Flashcard Factory is free 100% of the time. So that's extremely important for everyone to see and understand. I'm going to show you what it looks like because it's hard to explain what it looks like, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. And in this, you'll notice there is not sound. So you go to peardeck.com, add a vocabulary list. You can go ahead and add your words in. It even has a dictionary. And you can add as many words as you want. Give it a title. So when you click Play Flashcard Factory, just like it works when you're in Pear Deck, it's going to give the kids a code. So they type in joinpd.com, they type in their code, and they clock in. It's going to put them in two different groups, the day shift group and the night shift group. And right now, the teacher would give the kids the code and tell them when this activity would be due. So they type in that code. And one person draws and one person writes. And then they put them together and they ship them. And it falls down on the conveyor belt on the teacher's screen, which is super cool. And once they've made all of their flashcards, what they can do is you get a chance to approve them or not in quality control. So you can see that flashcard falling. And in quality control, you can have discussions with your students. Does this meet criteria or not? And then once you're done, you can then save it as a PDF or export it to GimKit. So it's just a really cool tool. Some of the ways we've used this in my school, we've done it with things like Caesar's English with vocabulary. My school counselor had the kids wrote a situation. The kids drew how they would feel, and then they wrote a calming strategy. I thought that was a really innovative use. In math, we'll put a math problem like 4 + 6 or whatever problem you want. One kid writes a word problem. The other kid writes how to solve it. We've even used this with like adding and subtracting integers because you have tools where you can like make the lines bigger or smaller. If you haven't checked it out, it's amazing. Like I said, there's also a blog post sharing a lot of the cool ways that it can be used. So I've done a lot of talking and it's time for you guys to participate. So what I would love for you to do is, Patrick, if you could go ahead and put the link in the chat, that'd be awesome. If not, it's also available as a bit.ly. And what I would love for you to do is I'm a big thinking routine person. And so what I would love for you to do right now is go ahead to the Jamboard and write a headline, write something that you might see in a newspaper or something like that. Just say what you think that big idea that you've gotten so far about transform tech tools. You can add it in a sticky note. You can add it as a text box. Any of those are fine. I see 3 of us in here. So if you're in here and you haven't gotten a chance to write, please go ahead and share what your headline would be. Yes, I do. I'm an alliteration person. I love what we're coming up with so far. I'm going to give you guys about 2 more minutes to add, but I love what I'm seeing so far. And as we get to our last minute working on this, please do keep this open because there are 3 frames and we will go to the other 2 as we continue through. Words can definitely be hard later in night. I get it. But these are really great shares so far. Okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation. If you want, you can continue to add, but I do want to make sure that I get through all the goodness. And if you can't multitask, feel free to put it in the chat like I did with VJ, and I'm happy to put it in there as well. So we're going to go to part 2. We are going to be talking about tech tools that promote creation. One of the things that I am very, very passionate about is that technology should not just be used for consumption. And if it is used for consumption, we want to be critical consumers. And so we really, really, really want to try to promote creation with our students. I'm going to talk about 3 different tools that I really enjoy using with students that promote creation. You might know some, you might not know all, and that is absolutely okay. The first one is actually a tool that I only found out about being in the county that I'm in right now. And it's mostly used with younger kids, but it definitely has some amazing uses. So Wixie is a kid-friendly creation tool that is used in my district K to 5. I honestly think it has a lot of uses beyond that. It is an amazing tool, and I will actually let you see a little bit inside of it and show you a few things. One of the reasons that I love using Wixie is it really amplifies student voice, and it, just like what we talked about with Padlet, it enables students to create modalities. They can now add videos. They can add their voice. They can draw. They can add, it has an extensive collection of clip art and royalty-free pictures. They can write text. They can make comic strips. It's a really, really great tool as far as that goes. And I am, become a very big fan of it. And so I love the fact that it has that. It also empowers collaboration. Much like Google Slides, it enables students to work collaboratively in team projects, which is just really amazing. And the other thing that's really great about this is that it has a dashboard that makes it super easy for teachers to review and manage student work and give them feedback. And I know that this summer they're going to be adding even more updates. So I always look forward to the updates. Last summer they added video and it changed my life. These are just a few of the projects that I've done with my students. I love the fact that in Wixie, I can give them a project that's really open-ended, and it gives them that freedom to really create from within it. The first example that's up here is an activity I call Good Morning Algorithm. We spend a lot of time in my technology classes talking about algebraic thinking. And so what the students do to learn that idea that you first have to do this, then this, then this, is they create a 4-step routine. Now, like I said, some of my students chose to draw. Some of them chose to write, or a combination of the two. Now, after the newest update, they can put videos on every page or multiple videos on every page. So it's just a really great tool in order for them to do that. They can click on each screen one at a time to really look at it. It's just a very powerful tool. This is an example that my first graders did. We'll do some career development. First page, what do you want to be? Draw a picture, add a video, use your voice, use a combination of all of them, use some of the stickers or graphics. And how does this support my community? Getting the kids to really share their ideas. This snow globe is where it all starts for me. My kindergartners start using Wixie usually around January in a normal year. They have never, ever done anything like this before. And so we spend 3 weeks. First week, we add 3 pictures into the snow globe. Then they learn how to shade it. And then lastly, they learn how to add words. So in this, I have linked a blog post all about what Wixie can do to give you a few more examples. In addition, on my blog, which is linked through this, there are many articles. There's at least 3 articles on Wixie if you're interested in learning more. And Wixie has this awesome thing that if you want to play with it, because I know some people weren't, you can click try Wixie and try it for 30 days for free and see if you like it. So really cool program. My students really love it. I had a kid who came up to me at dismissal today and said, I've been playing with Wixie. It's really cool. They added videos, and I haven't had any technology classes this year. So that made me really happy. Google Slides, a lot of similarities with Wixie. It's a presentation program that allows you to create original work using one or multiple slides, but it's so much more than that. And so one of the ways that I love to use Google Slides for creation is I love to use the idea of the collaborative slide deck. In this picture right here, students are each assigned a slide. If you haven't told, I'm a big thinking routines person. And so this thinking routine is called Connect, Extend, Challenge. And kids are taking notes together in one slide deck where every kid has a page that they can use. It's that anyone can edit capabilities. And so they're all really hitting that critical consumption, and they're creating representations. Now, instead of just having one person's thoughts, they're able to be exposed to everyone's thoughts. So really powerful tool. This one is from Casey Bell and Shake Up Learning. It's magnetic poetry. All of these words are saved as pictures, and then students can create their own poetry inside of Google Slides. Really fun, and I think she does it for almost every season. This is one that was created by one of my first grade teachers. One of the things that we've spent a lot of time with this year is the idea that you can put things in the margins and then have kids use them to create. So she was able to put all of these symbols on the outside and then have students inside of Google Slides creating a treasure map, which I just thought was really great. She did the same thing for Valentine's Day and some other things as well. The last one I'm going to talk about is Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is amazing. It's definitely one of my newer favorite tools. It has 3 different parts. It has Spark Post, which is more for graphics. The picture on the bottom shows one of the things my students did last year where they created a collageosaurus using Smithsonian Learning Lab, and they used public domain images to create something new by remixing. You also have Spark Page and then Spark Video. The example that I'm going to show you up here is that Spark video. I agree, Shannon. I love Spark, Adobe Spark, and I know you're a huge proponent of it as well. One of the things that I love about this is that you can easily add photos, video clips, icons, and your own voice. My students in 6th grade last year did museum exhibits, and they created trailers to share and get other people to visit their exhibits. So this was created by a 6th grader, and it's super powerful, so I always like to share it. And of course it's glitching. I'm going to try to do that, not making it big because it seems to be glitching. So I really just love this. All of my students were so creative. And one of the things that I thought was really important is so many of them realized they really didn't need to use their voices to really create something really cool. So once again, I'm going to give you guys a chance to do some processing because I've been talking for about the last 10 minutes or so. Absolutely, I agree. Plug and play. When I went to Adobe Creative Educator Day right before the pandemic hit, they talked about Adobe Spark. If you click it, you can change it. Easy enough to use in any age. So what I would love for you to do right now is we're going to, of course, process with another thinking routine. This one is called Take Note. When I do this in PD, I ask you to pick at least one. When I do this with students, we do each one. We talk about what's the most important point. We talk about what you are finding difficult or challenging to understand, a question you'd like to discuss, or something you'll find interesting. I find this works best with the sticky notes, but you're all welcome to use the text as well. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes right now to reflect a little bit. I love the comments that I'm seeing so far. Awesome. Please feel free to add something to more than one of the boxes. And if you're interested in learning more about Wixie, like I said, that you have that free trial. It's a pretty cool program. I love the things you don't need to be limited to one thing. Perfect. Absolutely. Let's empower our students. So true. And so we really need to think about that. That's one of the things that I love about programs like Wixie is that as a teacher, I can even put a video in there and embed it inside so that my students can constantly revisit it. Maybe my first slide inside of Wixie is adding that video in. So, or adding a video into a Google Slides as the first one. So lots and lots of possibilities so we can kind of scaffold that. With my students in elementary school, I do a lot with showing them icons, and I spend a lot of time on icon literacy as well. These are great. I'm going to give you guys another couple minutes to see if there's anything else you'd like to add. And as you're thinking about all of these things, as we've been talking about them, we really want to really think about, we're trying to make that learning stick with our students. We want to make it that it's meaningful. And as we have our students create and process and reflect, we're really hitting those higher levels of thinking. And that's just so important versus just doing a digital worksheet, as somebody mentioned earlier. If they're just using it as a digital worksheet, then it isn't transforming instruction. It's just a substitution. Take about another minute if there's anything else you want to add. And that creativity is just so important. It's something I am very, very passionate about. And creativity is more than just, it can be so many different things. A lot of times we have very narrow views of creativity. And as we expand it, we can even do more with our students. Okay. We're going to go ahead and continue on. So we've spent a lot of time talking about our students, and our students are extremely, extremely important. But technology isn't just important for our students. It's also important as a way to empower ourselves as educators. And so we're going to spend the last bit of the session really talking about ways that you can use technology to empower yourself as an educator. And it's just so important. I know I started using technology with my students back in 2002. That makes me feel really old. But it wasn't until 2017, 2018, and probably 2020 when the pandemic hit that I started really empowering myself with sticky tech tools. So we're going to talk about a couple of different ways. And so we're going to start off by talking about some Twitter connections. We're going to talk about some podcasts. And if I had known 2 of the 3 caffeinated coaches were going to be in here, I would have added that one in. And then we're going to talk about some live streams. So when we talk about Twitter connections, we're going to be talking about getting connected with a PLN, a professional learning network, and some of the favorite chats that I enjoy doing. They are not the only ones, but they are definitely some of the best ones that in my opinion. So when we want to get connected with our PLN, there's so many ways to do that. There's so many amazing communities. Whether you're looking in Twitter or you're looking in Facebook or you're in Instagram or Voxer or Clubhouse that are available. And so it doesn't matter which medium of social media is the one is most comfortable. These are all available cross platforms. So I know in here, I see my fellow Teach Better ambassador, Megan. Teach Better team is an amazing resource of a great way to find other educators. She mentioned winning something during the 12-hour live, which I'll talk a little bit about later, but it's a great network. Just search Teach Better team on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll find a lot of great communities to be part of. And I know being part of the Teach Better team has been one of the things that's changed my life and helped me become such a better educator. I joke that almost every day of the week, there's something available where I can connect with other educators. Thrive in EDU is another great community that was formed during the pandemic as a response. How can we thrive in EDU when we have all these challenges? That's by Melody McAllister and Rochelle Dene Poth. Great community. Teachers on Fire with Tim Cavey has a really great Facebook community, but also has communities on other parts of social media as well. Codebreakers, another example. Just creating communities in lots of different places. DBC, Dave Burgess Consulting, and of course, I am a Road to Awesome author, so I have to mention that community, which is continuing to grow and develop. There's also lots of really amazing chats. Some of my favorites. Saturday morning is PD for You and Me. Now, PD for You and Me is different than any other chat that you'll participate in. Every week it has a topic. It happens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. All of these times are Eastern time. And they pick a topic, and it's basically like an ed camp, ed camp style. So like one week they'll talk about blogging and people will share ideas. This coming week they're talking about quotes. Every week it's a different subject, and it's just and I know when I started blogging, it was a really helpful thing for me to learn to be as a blogger and connect with others. On Sundays, we're all dealing with so much right now. The Teach Positive chat is another great one. Really helps you focus on things that will help you feel more positive about teaching. Tuesday is Codebreaker at 8 p.m. It's a short half-hour chat, really quick, gives you great information. Lots of authors also share in that. And then I couldn't finish this without adding Teach Better, hashtag Teach Better chat, which used to be Mastery Chat, which on May 20th, my birthday next week, will officially change over. Chat it used to be, Mastery Chat was an hour. Teach Better starting next week will be a half an hour of chat and a half an hour live. And I have definitely learned so much and made so many connections from that chat. Doing the Teach Better chat led to me deciding I wanted to watch the lives, and then led to me deciding to become an ambassador. And Shannon, I agree with you about the Ditch Book chat. I'm going to be honest, that's too late for me because it's 9 p.m. for me or 10 p.m. for me, and I don't stay up that late. But so many amazing chats and ways to grow. So I'm going to talk about some podcasts that I also think are really worth it. And like I said, we have some podcast hosts in the audience. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Teach Better Talk. It's definitely one of my favorites. Jeff Gargas and Ray Hewart just keep me laughing the whole time. They have this amazing banter. I love the fact that guests share ways that they embody the Teach Better mindset. How can you be better today than you were yesterday and better tomorrow than you were today? It's a great way to build your PLN. It gives you that chance to follow people who you've then listened to, and it's just a great podcast. Another one that I really have been enjoying lately is by Dan Krynis. It's The Leader of Learning. I had this perception probably up till last year that I wasn't a school leader because I wasn't an administrator, but that's not true. All of us are leaders of learning, whether it is in your classroom, it is in your school. We all are providing leadership, and his podcast really focuses on the fact that anybody can be a leader regardless of their title. And he is constantly releasing really great content. One of my favorites is Educational Duct Tape. Jake Miller uses this metaphor as using technology as like a duct tape to solve problems. It makes me laugh the entire time. Every week he has a different guest and they use technology to solve a problem. And I just think that's so important. Technology should really be used to give our kids opportunities and solve things. It shouldn't just be used, in a substitution way. So the last thing I'm going to talk about empowering yourself with is live streams. And I'm going to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about the Teachers on Fire Roundtable. And I know that Shannon and Mel, I know that we've had some people on there. The DBC Thursday Night PD, which of course we're missing right now, but that's okay because this is just as fun. And then Thrive O'Clock, which we talked a little bit about with the Thrive and EDU community. So Teachers on Fire Roundtable, it happens at 11 o'clock Eastern every Saturday. And Tim interviews amazing educators based on a central topic and streams it everywhere. A few, 5 months ago, I was watching one of his and he had authors on. Up until that point, I didn't think I had enough written to share my book. But yet through watching that, I was inspired and empowered to send my book to people. Now I'm about ready to be published. And that was the, spark that helped it come about. But he has lots of really great content every Saturday morning. DBC happens every Thursday night at 6:30 Central. It's a half an hour. It's nice and short. It streams on Facebook, YouTube, and basically they interview an author. They give a free book if you participate. I am still waiting for my free book because I love to read so much, but it's a half an hour. It's quick. It's really interesting, and it's definitely worth checking out. In addition, Rochelle Dene-Poth and Melanie McAllister interview educators every Friday and Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Another great way to just learn and connect with other people. So once again, we're going to go ahead back to that Jamboard. And we're going to go to the third frame. And this is called the 4 C's. So as we start to wrap up, I want you to tell me either a connection you made after the session, something that challenged you, a key concept or idea that you think is important, or a change in attitude that you might have after tonight's session. So go ahead and take a few minutes to share your 4 C's. So we're on frame number 3. Ooh, I love that word, artistry, to make them sparkle. Ooh, I like that. And if you're using it with your project, definitely feel free to share on social media, tag me, because I'd love to hear how you're using some of those things. And if you're unable to multitask, please feel free to add it into the chat. We can always add it in that way as well. 100%. I always joke that I was an okay educator before I became a connected educator, and being a connected educator makes you great. Absolutely. Think about trying the DBC stuff. I try to get in there whenever I can. Absolutely. We all have to support each other. We have so many amazing communities inside of educational tech, inside of the education community, that if we all support each other, it's just a really great way of becoming a better community. We're all after the same things. Okay. And you will, of course, have access to this if you want to go back to any of these things. So I'm going to start to close us up with a few last things. First of all, if you are all interested, if you aren't already connected, at least most of the people I see in the chat I'm connected with, but please connect with me. I'm pretty much on all social media as Tannenbaum Tech. My email is up there. Please feel free to check out my website. I've spent a lot of time on it. You'll also see the bit.ly for this. If you are interested in pre-ordering my book, getting a signed copy, that is available through my website. So it will be up on Amazon shortly, but if you can't wait and you want to order it in advance and look at some of the praise pieces from some of other amazing educators, you can definitely check that out there. And then lastly, I see that we already have it in the comments. I have a feedback form. I really value other educators' opinions. I'm always trying to do what I do better. So I would greatly appreciate it if you were here tonight and you wouldn't mind to fill out that session. Are there any questions in the comments before we wrap up for tonight? You are I'm so excited. I can't wait. And thank you guys for coming tonight and supporting me. Talk about the power of a PLN. Okay, Patrick, I don't see any questions, so I think we're about ready to wrap up.